Merry Christmas, everybody! Welcome to this final instalment from Wild Astro of 2019. I've been racking my brains to think of what I could bring you as a final bit of a fling for 2019, and I've come up with a couple of ideas. It suddenly occurred to me that every year in my household it's my responsibility to bring the festive drinks to the party, so I thought I'd do just that for you guys. I've got a couple of festive cocktails that are really going to bring a bit of warmth, a bit of zing to your wild camps or your parties at home if that's what you're doing this year, but definitely if you get out there in the tent during this cold weather, these are going to bring some real warmth to the show. Alright, so what I'm doing for you first of all, I'm making a cocktail called wassail. Okay, now it takes a little bit of prep. What you're going to need is a little watertight container, which I've got here. Now what I've got in here is a syrup that I've made up before I came out today. What's in here is a little bit of maple syrup, the juice of half a lemon, I've got some cinnamon stick, I've got star anise, I've got 3 whole cloves, and I've got a little bit of grated nutmeg in here as well. And what I'm going to do, the earlier you can make this up the better, because those flavours get right out into the syrup. Okay, I'm just going to open this up and I'm going to pop it into my cooking pot here. I've got the old trusty Pocket Rocket Deluxe made up here, ready to go. I'm just going to pop this straight into my cooking pot. There it goes. That's some lovely thick sugary syrup. Okay, and what I'm going to do is heat that through. Okay, so I'm just going to light the boy up here. There we go, bit of heat through it. Okay, and as soon as you start to see that react to the heat, you want to turn the heat right down. All the way down until it very nearly stops. So the heat is right down until it's very nearly gone out. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let that steep for a little while, let those flavours really get through the syrup. Okay, you should be able to do this sat outside your tent on any hillside, any mountainside, in any forest, okay? And I promise you faithfully, it will bring a real spark of Christmas to your wild camp. Okay, what I've got here is some real, proper, traditional cloudy apple cider. Okay, the cloudier, the more old school you can get hold of, the better for this. I'm just going to pop this straight in the pot. This is about a cup's worth. Okay, this is what I'm drinking out of. You can up the amounts that you put in here depending on how many people you're serving with this, but that cider's going to go in there with all that syrup, all those spices, and it's going to smell absolutely incredible. Okay, now I'm going to turn the heat up again, and we really want that cider to start bubbling. And as soon as it does start bubbling, we're going to turn it down and we're going to let it simmer for a little while. Oh, the smell is incredible. I wish I had a scratch and sniff or smell-o-vision for you right now. Okay, now as you can see, this is bubbling away beautifully now, okay? The smell is amazing, okay? The longer you can bring yourself to leave this for at this stage, the better, because all those spices are going to get into the cider. You're really going to taste every single one of them. I forgot to mention there's a little touch of vanilla in that syrup I put in at the beginning as well. Okay, about half a pod split down the middle. Okay, and that's all in here as well, bubbling away with all those flavours coming out in the cider. Okay, now the next thing that goes in here is the final thing, and it is frankly the best bit. Okay, we get the whiskey in. Now this is my whiskey of choice, has been all year, all of 2019. It's the 12-year-old Glenfiddich single malt. I absolutely love this stuff. But yeah, the 12-year-old Glenfiddich single malt is the way I'm going with this particular one. Now in terms of amounts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add into it about the same amount as I had syrup in this pot at the beginning. Okay. Now this is a 4-ounce pot that I'm using here, so you know you can extrapolate from that, figure out how much I've got in there. You want to put this in right at the last minute because you don't want any of that lovely alcohol burning off and evaporating away. So I'm going to put that down to one side. I'm going to make sure my apple cider with all these lovely spices is bubbling away beautifully, and I'm going to leave this for about 10 minutes and I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, here we are. It's almost the moment of truth. So this has been bubbling away now for about 15 minutes actually, and I'm about to add my whiskey into the mix. I'm going to turn the heat right down again. okay, because I don't want any of this lovely, lovely alcohol in here burning away. And I'm just going to pop that straight in. Okay, I'm going to give it a stir. I'm going to heat it for a minute, just so that it's really, really heated right through, and then I'm going to turn the heat off. Okay, now, you are probably going to want to strain this through something. Now, I'm at home, so I've got myself a tea strainer here to pour it through, but you know, you can use a bit of gauze, a bit of cloth, you can even use a sock or anything like that that you might take with you. I'm going to pour it through this tea strainer here. All right, and here we go. Now what I've got left, I've got a cup left of all these beautiful spices. You could pour more cider in there and have another go. There's more than enough spice in there to make another cup full of this if you wanted to. I'm just going to pop it down and I'm going to get my hands on this absolutely fantastic smelling, amazing stuff. And while I have a little sip of this and enjoy myself on this Christmas afternoon, I'm going to leave you to have a look at some of Wild Astro's best bits from 2019. See you in a minute. Absolutely glorious. Now it's worth mentioning that if whiskey isn't your thing, you could make that with rum, you could make that with amaretto. Imagine that. That is absolutely incredible. Right. Whoa, it goes right to your head as well. Okay, brilliant. So that's one done. I've got a second one for you. Now this is the classic hot toddy. Okay, it's very, very straightforward. I'm just going to put some water on to boil here. So that we'll get that heated up, and what I've got is 3 more ingredients. It's very, very straightforward. Here is some honey syrup. Now I've made this by, I've basically got one of those jars of honey that's gone all crystallized at the bottom of the jar, and I've added some boiling water to it, okay, and given it a good old shake, and that creates a honey syrup in the bottom of there, okay. And you want a ratio of about 1 to 3 honey syrup to water, and then I've got 3 whole cloves here, okay, and then I've got the whiskey again. I'm making this one with whiskey too, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop the cloves into the water as it's boiling away there. Honey syrup on my thumb, and I'm going to bang some of this honey syrup into the water as well. There we go. So as I say, it's about a ratio of 1 to 3 syrup to water. There we go. And that's just starting to boil away now. Pocket Rocket Deluxe is absolutely incredible for boil time, by the way, especially with a thin titanium pot like this one. Here it comes. But as soon as this gets up to boiling point, I'm going to kill the heat, I'm going to put the whiskey on, and I'm going to go for it straight away. That's it, simple as. You simply add whiskey to taste on this one. There's nothing else to say. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's warm, and it's going to absolutely give a real kick to your wild camps or your winter evenings sat by the fire. Okay, I'm ready to add the whiskey now. I'm just going to go for it. Here we go. Probably about a shot and a half's worth, something like that. In it goes. Now this, to give you an idea, this is a 700ml mug. It's about half full at the moment, just over half full. So I've got 3 parts water, 1 part honey syrup, and about a shot and a half of the Glenfiddich 12-year-old there. And I'm going to kill the heat now, give it another stir. Remember, you've got some cloves in here, okay? Don't go chugging those away. I'm going to give that a moment just to cool. Okay, here we go. Oh, it smells good. Oh, it's sweet, it's smoky. Oh, it's good. That is going to put a smile on your face on a cold evening, I tell you. Folks, all that remains is for me to wish you a very Merry Christmas from me, Richie at Wild Astro. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please hit that subscribe button. And then all I want to do now is thank everyone that's been on this amazing journey I've been on in 2019. First video came out in August. You've followed me since then. If you have followed me on all those videos, thank you so much for being there with me. I've enjoyed every moment of it. There's lots more to come in 2020, so stick with me. Give me that thumbs up, ask me any questions, send me some more cocktail recipes, hot cocktail recipes that might be suitable for taking out on camp. But folks, a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you all, and I'll see you in 2020. This is Richie from Wild Astro, signing off.